Guys, today we're going to talk about why a company won't call you back. Don't want to miss this, so stay tuned. Hey guys, it's Brian back at you with another video where my goal is to mentor you to one career and to help you create a life you're proud of. And in that endeavor, I'm going to be sharing with you 5.1 reasons why a company doesn't call you back, especially after an interview that you thought went very well. We're going to go into those 5 reasons. However, before I do, if this is your first time tuning in, just know that I am the one-on-one mentor. I'm here to answer your career questions to help you find a career that you absolutely love. Now, I make videos like this where I share tips and advice in terms of that career hunt, as well as personal development and social skills. Now, if you have a question that you want me to answer, then you can send it to me through my website, 101mentoring.com. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out when the video is posted on this channel. All right, so let's get to the topic at hand, which is why doesn't a company call you back, especially when things went well? Like, obviously you got the interview. That means your resume is good, your cover letter is good, and the interview went well. It felt good. You had really good conversations. You had questions that went both ways, and you really thought you had this in the bag, and yet you haven't heard from the company. So I'm going to share 5 reasons, and these are the reasons that are outside of your control. I mean, assuming everything else went well, then chances are the reasons why they haven't called you back are somewhat outside of your control, but it's really good that you have this insight as to why they aren't calling you. So here they are. The first reason is corporate red tape. This is very common. Sometimes a company is just so huge. Usually they may have different offices around the country, and they all report into a headquarters. Now, the headquarters really lays out the whole hiring process as well as the requirements. And as a result, you've got regional offices, maybe major offices, and then a headquarter office. So you have a lot of corporate red tape as a result, and you need approval across all the stages. I mean, if something lands into your inbox and that person is super busy, they're not going to see it for several weeks. They never get to it. They never process it. And as a result, it doesn't go through all the checks and balances according to their process or procedures. And as a result, you get missed. It really does suck. And you see this a lot with the bigger companies. You would expect that when you're that big, you have your procedures so locked into place that this stuff doesn't happen, but it does happen. You do see it with medium-sized companies as well. Smaller companies, you don't see that. Typically, it goes to the one owner. It's a much more simplified process, and therefore they can hit that stamp of approval much more quickly. It's just the reality of this type of situation, especially with the larger organizations, of all this red tape that you have to go through. The second reason are budget cuts. And this is also part of the situation when you are in a larger organization or a medium-sized company or any company that may be struggling financially, but there's always a lag, right? You've got people on the ground. They are trying to hire people, and they heard that they were approved for that position. They start putting all the wheels in motion on hiring and interviewing and getting the job description up. Now, that's happening down here. Now, above them are probably the higher executives or maybe a corporate office. And then from that side, they're seeing the sales numbers come in. They're seeing changes in sales opportunities, or that products aren't selling as well as they want, or something of that nature, or funding is being cut. They hear that first, so then they have to communicate it from the headquarters all the way down to the ground level, and that takes time. And there's usually a lag period, and unfortunately during that lag period, that's when all the wheels in motion about hiring you and interviewing you is happening. And by the time they need to pull the trigger and get the official approval, they hear there are budget cuts, and it happens. Things change. You lose customers, you lose accounts, or maybe your customer lost another funding or source of funding, and as a result, it impacts that position. And as a result, you have budget cuts that impact you. The third reason, which is very related to the budget cuts, is just a natural change in direction. Sometimes it's not financially related, although to a certain degree it is, but that could just be something along the lines of some sort of external threat to the company. Maybe there's another competitor in charge that's coming in. They're taking out market share, or they need to innovate differently, or they need to put a new product out, or maybe they're just changing strategies. Like if you look at BlackBerry, they were going with phones, and then they switched over to providing security services, which is a completely different market, completely different product, and then technology and innovation. And as a result, they have to move their funds over to that type of innovation or that type of service and to develop that. And that change in direction can happen at a moment's notice. Maybe the CEO or the president was thinking about this for the last 6 months. And in that 6 months, again, there's that lag time. Everything was normal course of business until that moment that he or she decided to change the direction of the business. And then bam, that change then gets trickled down over to the rest of the team. And again, that may be one of the reasons why a company can't call you back or won't call you back. And unfortunately, they can't even talk about it because this is quite confidential. This is very, very strategic for them. They can't reveal this information. All you get is, either a no response or some sort of generic response. The company's going in a different direction or the job posting has been removed. Reason number 4 why companies don't call you back, I think this is a bit obvious, but it is worth mentioning, is that competition for your position, right? For the position that you want. There are people out there that are more experienced, more knowledgeable, have more leadership experience, better fit culturally, or maybe they were just cheaper or pulled the trigger quicker than you did. And as a result, they just beat you to the punch. That is quite possible. And this is a really good reason why a lot of companies don't reach out to you, because they already filled the position. And it'd be really awkward to just tell you that, hey, we found someone better than you, or we found someone cheaper than you. I don't think that comes off well. And it makes, it might make you feel bad or make you feel like you're not as good as you thought. And that's not necessarily the case. It usually comes down to fit. But sometimes, it's easier to choose the guy with more experience. And that's probably what happened. That's just the nature of the game to a certain degree, just like sales, just like dating. It's somewhat of a numbers game when it comes to finding a job. And sometimes it's just not your time because someone else beat you to the punch. The 5th reason why companies don't call you back, and this doesn't happen too much in my experience, but it has happened in the past, and I've seen that with my colleagues, with my friends, and that is HR sloppiness. I told you a little bit about that with regards to the corporate red tape, but sometimes you got the wrong people in HR who just aren't good at keeping up to all their tasks. Maybe they're overwhelmed. Maybe they're really busy. Maybe they have other fires to fight or other things to deal with on an HR front, sexual harassment, legal, or lawsuits. The last thing on their plate is to fill a position, and that really sucks, or at least to tick the approval box. Sometimes the head of HR or someone needs to give the final sign off, and they just don't do it because they're way behind in their emails, or maybe there's just a really long-winded documented procedure, and as a result, they just never get to it. It's a shame to lose a really good candidate for that reason. Like I said, I haven't really experienced this myself, but I've seen it happen to a lot of my friends and colleagues. Number 5.1, reason why a company doesn't call you back. And I say 0.1 because I find that the vast majority of these reasons are outside of your control, but this one is somewhat in your control and then somewhat not. So 5.1. The 5.1 reason why a company won't call you back, and that is your references didn't check out. Actually, I've seen this quite a bit. People submit references that just don't support the candidate. And it's weird. Like when I call them or when the HR person calls the references, we get a lot more information about you than you probably realize. We hear more of the not so great stuff about you too. So it's really important that you prepare your references properly. A, you screen for the right ones to make sure that these guys will definitely vouch for you and only say good things about you. And B, it's important to prep them too. Let them know what companies are going to be reaching out to them, what type of job you're trying to apply for. It's important to give them that heads up. Just fire them an email, maybe a text or a phone call, just to prime them a little bit so they're not caught off guard and so they can allot the right time and speak about you in the most favorable way and in a way that's aligned to the job description and to you. So there you go, guys. 5.1 reasons why a company won't call you back. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And remember, I do offer a career prep course if you are in the search for a new job right now. It's a live one-on-one course with me. We go over your resume, we go over your cover letter, we do a full real-time critique. I give you feedback that you need, not what you want to hear, and we also do a real mock interview. Guys, I have more information in the card above as well as in the description down below. And as always, if you have a question you want to fire me so that I can answer in a future video, go to my website, 101mentoring.com. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Till the next one. Cheers.